silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I have today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Everywhere I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain except the curtain.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. Cinco de Mayo, right? Is that where? That's where we are. Mandy's in the house. She's going to keep me straight. She's got on the Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
It's hit the fan today, man. It's like when I've seen all the social media, Cinco de Mayo and Taco Tuesday. Ah! It's
historic event.
Is it? Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to partake in some tacos today. I just because we're out of school. We're out of school. You know what? I've got the wrong mic turned on for you. There we go.
Okay.
Now we're on.
All
now
right,
we're on.
good.
Good deal. But anyway, I forgot we've got Jerry coming in, and I'll do a do-si-do with the mics usually, and Jerry's not here yet, so we're going to leave his mic right there. But yes, she has on. What does your shirt say?
It says, "You can't make everyone happy. You're not a taco."
Okay. Yes, that's it. Yeah, everybody loves a good taco.
Yes,
So it's Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo. All the planets have aligned.
Yes.
You know, it's like yesterday was May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
All the little things.
A lot of exciting
I know.
pop culture things happening.
I know. It was so funny. The first student that I said that to yesterday went, "Oh, Miss Vivio, you're with it." I'm like, "Yes, I am." But voting, you got to get out and vote today, guys. It's the county election. It's the reason we're out of school today. Kiddos are out of school today. And our seniors are pretty much out of school already anyway. When they're there in school, they might as well not be there because they're just,
Checked out.
It's like trying to get anything out of your side. Now, I have to take that back. My seniors, I actually did a cahoots with them and made them take a quiz yesterday.
Oh.
And they did it. And I was proud of them. It was like, come on, guys, bring it. We got a little bit more time.
Didn't have a rebellion or anything like that.
Yeah. So we got it. But anyway, get out and vote if you haven't voted. I know a lot of people early vote. I'm one of those. I like to vote on election day. Now, Lee Marie always cautions me. She goes, "What if you get sick?" I'm like, "I'll go to the polls sick. I'll put a mask on. I'll go sick."
Right.
I mean, unless I'm just can't. And I have only missed an opportunity to cast my vote one time in my life. And that was when I was on my honeymoon.
Okay.
Yeah, because we forgot to get, that was back, you figure, we got married in 88. And that was when the first President Bush was elected.
Yes.
Right after Reagan. And so it was a landslide. Landslide victory. And so it was one of those things, we just didn't file in time to do our absentee. And we were all like, yeah, it's fine. So it was just, that was the one time I neglected to vote.
Well, and it was a little bit more difficult then too, because
Oh, it was much more, yeah.
Right now, I mean, they've made it so automated and so easy to do,
Oh, yeah, it
and
wasn't
so
that way.
that we were talking yesterday. That's the first election my husband was able to vote in.
Okay.
So yeah, I've only missed one time voting too, because it is such an important duty
better
as a
believe it.
citizen of the United States. And as I was driving over here at Chrysler, they had, people out at the polls
Right.
already. And I looked up some information, which is a little bit discouraging about Robertson
Yes.
County. And I don't love that, because I love Robertson County, but only about 6% of our population has voted. We've got over 80,000 residents, but we only have 50,000 registered voters, and only 6% of that 50,000 has voted yet. So it is very, very important that a whole lot of you guys in Robertson
better
County
believe it.
get to the poll today.
You better
because
believe
this
it.
is an important election. Every time we let our voice slip and not be heard, it's one more step in losing that freedom that people have fought for hundreds of years for and given their lives for. And it's just really, really important that you let your voice be heard. And I know we have a lot of keyboard warriors, and it does take that sometimes. You have to get behind the keyboard and talk, but you have to get out and act. Action is what is going to make change. And if you do not go cast the vote, pull the lever, push the button, your voice is not going to be heard, no matter how much you have to say on social media.
Thank you. Couldn't have said it better. And I mean that thing about there's been too many lives lost for you to have the opportunity to vote. And here's something, ladies, we didn't always get to.
That's right.
So I'm like everybody's like, are you becoming a women LaVern? No. I just want people to understand how far we've come.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't want people to forget that.
Yes.
How long it took for women to actually get the right to vote, and how dare you not go to the polls?
Right.
How dare you not go to the
Yes.
polls with the women that fought for you to have that right to get there? And so I just say, please get out and vote, guys. I mean, I lost my friend in Vietnam that has made me somebody that just gets it my whole life, because, I mean, losing him at a real young age, I never took it for granted. And my first vote was for Reagan.
Okay.
I got to vote for Ronald Reagan twice, so that's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
But yeah. Anyway, get out and vote, y'all. Come on.
Till
Get to the
7
polls.
o'clock. Yep.
7 o'clock tonight. And here's the thing. This will decide who our county mayor is going to be.
Absolutely.
Because there's no opposition on the other side.
Correct.
They'll be on the ballot in the general, but it'll be just a formality. And we've got some county commissioners, and
Yeah. I mean, it's so important.
Yep.
And you hear a lot of people say, well, my vote doesn't count. And that's not true, because
There's Jerry.
every vote counts. And
better
there's
believe
a
it.
lot of elections that are won with a really small margin. And so it's
I think this one may be one.
I think you're right.
because it's going to depend on who gets their people out.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it at that. But whoever gets their people out will be our next county mayor.
Yeah, and Jerry, I mean, he served. He was a Marine. He served so you could vote. So
That's right.
Vote, right,
We
Jerry?
were just talking about she and I missed one time when I was on my honeymoon, and you missed just one vote. So and my first vote was cast for Ronald Reagan. So the only vote I ever didn't get to cast when I was given the opportunity to my recollection. Now, there may have been something that slipped by me when my kids were little and I didn't, you know what I mean? I don't think so, because I would take them with me to vote.
Yes.
And I missed whenever President Bush, the first President Bush, got elected for the first time, because I was on my honeymoon. It was 88.
Okay.
So have you ever missed an opportunity to vote?
No, I don't think I have.
That's good for you. Yeah, that's just because he served as a Marine, so you get it. Jerry Herman, he is the city administrator for White House for just a bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer. Yes,
How
ma'am.
much longer?
Yeah, it's coming up here a couple months.
Okay, very good. Mandy Christenson, I didn't properly, introduce her. I just feel like everybody knows you because she is our president of the White House Chamber, and the second Tuesday is or is it the first Tuesday?
First Tuesday.
Ugh.
I roll around so fast.
It is just crazy how
It is.
fast time goes. Well, and we had extra days. We had extra Wednesdays and all that kind of stuff last month, and so I'm just kind of discombobulated.
Yep.
So anyway, well, we had Senator Roberts in yesterday, which was the first Monday, and that's normally Sean Elmore, and she couldn't come, and then we had technical problems last week, so we wanted to do a do-over with Senator Roberts.
Juggling everybody.
Just been like,
Really?
So anyway, okay, where do we want to? You do understand it's Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
a
but more
big
important,
deal.
I think, was Election Day, which you
More
already
important-
was talking about.
The
it.
most important thing.
You know, I was
Wait,
thinking-
but we just want to make sure everybody knows all the important things.
'Cause early voting is now over, right?
correct.
So
You go vote today.
Yeah.
Go vote today. And just one little side note, if you're not real up on what's going on with school, seniors, this is the Robertson County seniors, this is their last week.
Yeah.
If they are exam exempt, they will be done tomorrow. So if they've got like an A, I think they can have up to 3 absences. Now you've got to be there. That could even be excused absences. Because if you're not in the classroom, even if they're excused, you don't get exam exempt. So if you get the flu and you're out for a week, I'm sorry, you just don't get to not get your exams. So an A, I think you get 3, and a B, 2. And so some of the seniors are done tomorrow. They won't be in the building. Now, they'll do, at Greenbrier, we have our little walkthrough and all that. They do a thing called President's Honorary Diplomas, and they do all that on Friday. And then our graduation is on the 18th, but the seniors are pretty much done. This is the last week for the seniors. And I know Mom's over here going, she is a senior.
Is that a warning? Are we? I mean, the way you're saying, I'm like, does it mean that the partying starts? We should be aware of that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, and also too, I think there's a lot of parents that will get questions. They'll be like, so they say that this is this, because I mean, when the kids get older, communication kind of breaks down a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
And we've had parents send emails going, they say they don't have to come to school tomorrow. Is that true? And it's like, well, yeah, that's true. So you get that. And grandparents and things, it's like, well, why aren't they in school? Because everybody else is in school. But school itself runs through the Friday before Memorial Day. So we're done that. But then,
22nd, I think.
yeah, but even then, if they're exam exempt, they can be out by Tuesday that week. And then there'll be exams on, they can be out Monday. They can go Monday and then be out the rest of the week while the rest of their classmates go to school because they're not exam exempt.
Yeah.
I love the exam exemption because it's a motivation to get the kids in the classroom.
For sure. Yeah.
And so I do.
It's
We
so
see
exciting, to be a teenager way back thinking, and to know
get out 2 days early.
Because I mean, the end of the school year is such an exciting time for
Yes.
everybody, teachers,
Yes.
students,
Yes.
everybody is really anticipating that. So
we want you to be exam exempt.
So when is the last day for everybody else? I
The
didn't catch that.
22nd would be, and the way it works, so that week before Memorial Day, if they're exam exempt, they'll go Monday. And this is just high school. Now, this is elementary is a whole different beast, but high school kids, they'll go Monday. And then if they're exam exempt, they're done.
They're done.
And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have exams, but Wednesday will be a half day. And then Thursday, makeup exams. And then Friday is just kind of a formality that they can come pick up their report cards, take care of any last minute things before the schools are closed officially for the summer. But then summer school starts back up, like June. So you'll have a summer school schedule. And I don't know which one of the schools are going to have summer school, but they will have and that's I'm wanting to say just 4 weeks, maybe. I think it's a month. I'm not
a
sure.
lot for credit recovery.
Yeah,
and things like
that kind of stuff. So that's where we are, guys. So kids are like, bah! Be careful. Well, and my husband, he teaches, but he also drives a bus.
Yes.
And so he drives the kids to school and then teaches them and takes them home. And so he will tell you, and he was the safety coordinator for the buses before he became criminal justice teacher.
Okay.
So that's why he drives a bus, because he knows how shorthanded they are.
Yeah.
And he will tell you, these kids are so excited.
Sure.
They're not paying attention. They're darting off buses, all this kind of stuff. It's summer. You've got to be so careful around these buses because these kids are just not thinking. And so please, 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 extra caution around the buses right now.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
for sure. And we already
Yeah.
have a big problem with distracted drivers and
better
things like
believe
that.
it.
So it's important for everybody to be aware.
Be aware. It's summer, almost. Anyway, so where do we need to start? I know this has been like 15 minutes, but what have we got as far as White House Chamber?
Well, let's talk. We've got a couple of big events coming up,
Right.
rolling into summer. This Thursday, we have our golf tournament at the Legacy. It's sold out,
fun.
but we're excited to be over here and spend a day on the golf course, so that will be very nice. And then on May 12th, we have our investor luncheon, which is going to feature our state representatives and state senators. And so, of course, Robertson Sumner County is where White House is home to. So we'll have representatives from both of the counties there to give us a legislative update because they just closed the session, and they'll give us all the rundown on the bills and things that were passed and legislation that was passed. And then our farmers market will be opening. I know, very exciting for us in White House. It opens on May 20th. That's a Wednesday. It's at our city park, which is next door to the chamber. And it's every Wednesday through August, 3:30 to 7. We have live entertainment. We have lots and lots of vendors. We'll have strawberries because they're in now. I mean, the strawberries are so good this season. Yeah. So get out and get some strawberries. We have food trucks. So that's a great event that the community really looks forward to. And then on May 29th is the kickoff to our summer concert series. And that's May 29th. It's a Friday night. It's at our amphitheater, which is at the City Hall complex or the municipal complex. We have not been able to have it there for the last several years because we've had a lot of construction going on site, but we're excited to move it back to the amphitheater, which is adjacent to the splash pad. And by the way, the splash pad is now open on weekends. That is one of the biggest questions we get in town. Is when
I'm surprised because most people hold off until Memorial Day.
They start opening on weekends in May, and then after Memorial Day, it'll be open its regular schedule.
Gotcha.
But at that concert, the splash pad will be open. The playground is there. We have got Maddie Taylor. She's a young lady from Sumner County that will be opening for us. She's so talented. She's got a sweet little heart. She's beautiful, and she writes her own music. She does some covers. So she's our opener. And then we have Cruise Control, which is a local favorite in White House. They are a band. They went to school with my husband, so they have been a band for about 40 years. They've been playing together, and so in some form or fashion, That's
great.
And so when I was in school, they came to the middle school and performed a concert. So they have been doing a lot, but they are White House favorites, and so they'll be our main act or our headliners for that show.
That's cool.
And that's Friday, May 29th at 6 o'clock at the amphitheater.
I love it. My goodness, I've got a lot of good stuff going on.
Yes.
That'll be fun. And of course, now you've got me one. I'm going to have tacos and strawberries for lunch today. I'm just like, you got me all jazzed up for all this. I'm like, oh yeah, strawberries.
These strawberries are so good this year.
Yeah, okay.
We've had them from two different farms so far, and both batches have been out of this world. So, and they don't last long. That's the thing about strawberries. They come in fast and furious, and they don't last a really long time. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that. And then in June is one of my favorite events that we do at the Chamber, and that's our No Filter Girls Summit. That is June 12th. Registration is open for that. We have students from all over Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky that come to that. We have a lot of Springfield young ladies that attend, so would encourage people to check that out. And I'll drop the links in the comments after the show so people can register for that. But that is a summit for young women. We have a middle school track, which is 5th through 8th graders, and then we have a high school track for 9th through 12th graders. And we have two different sets of workshops for the young women because middle school girls have different issues than high school girls do. But we'll have we have some first aid safety classes. We have some self-defense classes. We have some body image classes. We will talk about health and healthy habits and eating and why is it important to move. And we just really try to build some self-confidence in the young women because, being a teenager is hard, but being a teenager in the age of social media is much harder. Oh, yeah. And so that's why it's no filter. There's no filter. We're trying to take away the social media and focus on the girl and not the selfie. And so that is an all-day event on Friday, June 12th. Registration is open. And we also are looking for adult women to pour back into the young women. So we have a few more spots available for volunteers for that.
Okay. So as far as the ages, it's like if you're going into the 12th grade.
Yes. It's rising 5th through 8 and rising 9th through 12.
Very good. I know that. I know the terms now. The rising seniors, that means you're a junior for a few more minutes.
Yep.
But anyway, very good. And that's a great event. I've heard so much feedback from people who've participated in that.
Yeah.
It's just a great event.
It's really a good event. It's great to see the girls that they all come in, and a lot of them are uncomfortable because you're put into a situation with people you may not know, or your friends in the group across the room, and you're sad about that. But usually by the end of the event, they've really formed some great bonds, and we put
some new friends.
Yes, and we put adult leaders with them that travel to each of the workshops, and so it's very much like a camp experience, but it's just a one day.
Isn't that cool? I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. And so many good events going on in White House, and it's just busy right now, but that's wonderful. We need to check in with Jerry with let me go ahead and do a break, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of regroup here. Did you have anything else or do you want to switch over to Jerry?
Well, let me, before we switch, since we're event driven right now, I'll tell you about our Memorial Day celebration.
Oh, of course.
We're planning a big Memorial Day celebration. The community band, Jeremy mentioned this too, the community band will be performing, but our American Legion, because it's the 250th anniversary of the United States, another really important reason to get out there and vote. But our American Legion is trying to pull in all veterans and have them sign up because they want to do a special march at the Memorial Day celebration. They'll march from the presentation to the flagpole. We'll have a 21-gun salute.
That's cool.
So it's a great event, and that's on Memorial Day at the Rec Center in the Municipal Complex.
So many wonderful things to be a part of. I love it. And we just... like I said, just appreciate you guys making the trek down here. I know, because it's not like it's right around the corner. But anyway,
it's just one street over.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
right. One street over. Good.
See what you did there? I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Well, let's pause for just a second and let's talk about one of our sponsors. Let's start with Valor. Let's talk with Valor. Start with Valor Mortgage right now. Just amazed at how many people, when I mentioned that Valor Mortgage is now a full-time sponsor, everybody's like, "Oh, I love Chris. I've worked with him. I've done this." I mentioned it with Brian Pooley the other day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we were in, I forget, one of the clubs together, and he was like Rotarian or something." And if I've got it wrong, what are the two big clubs? Rotarian and Kiwanis. I couldn't remember if it was Rotarians or the Kiwanis that I think they worked together with. But he mentioned to Chris that, I need to do something about getting a refi. And Chris just took care of it. Saved him a couple of points, or at least 1.5 points on his interest rate. He says it was absolutely effortless. It's been a few years ago, of course, but he said it couldn't have gone any easier. And the reason why, because Chris and his team of experienced loan officers, they don't treat you like a number. If you call these national numbers, it's like, see what you're more, see if you can refi or get a mortgage. I mean, you are literally a number when you call those 1-800 numbers, guys. That is not the case when you work with Valor Mortgage. You've got folks that are going to treat you like family. They're going to be on your team and make sure that your experience is exactly what it needs to be, because buying a home is one of the biggest decisions you're ever going to make. So why settle for a lender that's going to treat you like a number? They believe every homeowner deserves a team in their corner, and they're going to make sure that you get the right mortgage solution for your life, your budget, your goals. They've got VA loans, VHA loans, anything conventional, jumbo financing. The tools to get you to the closing table, maybe like Brian, you just need to refi. Maybe you need to do some investing, and you want to see about, one of my kids is going to own more than one house and rent out a house and maybe that's what you're wanting to do. That's your goal. Come in and sit and talk to Chris and the team and see what your options are before you go out there and start shopping. We'll talk about Barry and Rebecca here in a minute, and that's one of the first things they're going to tell you to do. Get pre-qualified. Well, they can help you do that. They're in the business of making home ownership possible for everyone. Whether you're buying your first home, refining, or investing in your future, Valor Mortgage is ready to serve. Call them at 615-671-9178, 615-671-9178, or go to valor.mortgage, valor.mortgage. Get pre-approved today, because when it matters most, you deserve a lender you can trust. To buy with confidence, buy with Valor. Valor Mortgage. NMLS number 1210804, DBA of Encore Lending Group. NMLS 1249911, equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. Rates and terms subject to change without notice. Not a commitment to lend, but let them know U-Turn sent you. All right, Jerry, it's your turn. How about that?
Well, okay. Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Well, we appreciate you being here too. Yeah. I tell you, it's so weird that this is like we're going to have the county mayor, and I'm not going to have Mayor Vogel in here anymore, and then you're, retiring.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I know, but we meet new friends. But so I'm so tickled that you're in here for a couple of more months. So, how did your mayor and alderman meeting go? What did y'all have to do?
I think we've been pretty well. I do want to jump in just on what Mandy was talking talking about with our Memorial Day service, that this year is going to be really just wonderful, because last year we weren't able to have an inside portion of it, and which was really kind of depressing, because we always like to have a speaker, and we do certain things. But this time, last year, we had to take it straight out to the flagpoles out the corner of US 31W and State Route 76. But this year, with the new gym being open, we were able to have the community band in there. And when we did that with the community band a couple of years ago, it just added so much volume and just so much more tradition, I guess, to the cause of what we're trying to remember. Right now we're in a situation with Iran, and and who knows what else we may be fighting. So it's really important that we recognize those that have lost their lives trying to defend this country. So if you're a former military person, or you're currently a veteran, or you're currently active, we would like you to show up and be part of it. Like Mandy said, we're going to try to separate you by your military service that you're in, and then have you come in with the flag and with your song being played and coming into the gymnasium. I think that's our plan right now. And then, of course, we'll do the ceremony up at the flagpole, which is always just really touching. When you hear those gunshots go off, you hear that taps being played, it just brings it all home. So if you could be there, please do that. So going back into our board, Mayor Alderman, I think I always like to go over some of the notes that I share with the board, and the things that I've been actively doing. But one of the big things we did with Derek, he's maybe out there listening.
Hey, Derek.
Yeah, we had he was in charge of replacing the message boards that we had out at the corner of 31W there in 76. And wow, what a really nice board he selected, and very colorful, and is able to put our messages out there. If you get a chance, you won't miss it. It's probably
it is
10,
impressive.
12, I don't know how tall it is, 12 feet tall probably. It is, the whole structure is, with our city logo at the top. It's really, really nice. One of the things we've been fortunate to have is like young youth people that are in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, or even sometimes just doing it on their own. They like to do volunteer work for the city, and they'll make things like we had a pavilion was put by our splash pad by one young person. Another one did one at the soccer complex, and recently we just had someone donate and make some picnic benches for our tennis complex, which is really nice. So we're going to recognize, I'm hoping, at our May meeting, the young person that did that. But the tables are out there, and it's really nice. And we're also, we've also are going to be installing a large shade structure over top of these picnic benches that they made for us. So we're really excited about that. For those of you who live around Marlin Road and US 31W, that traffic light is just about ready to go in service. I think we were waiting for CEMC to install a meter, but I do know that they had a generator out there running the lights the other day, and so I thought, well, we're just about done. And I know that we've committed to the community that, if we would raise their taxes by 6 cents 2 years ago, that we would engage in 6 road projects. And just letting you know that with Marlin Road completion, that'll be 4 of the 6 projects that we were able to complete as we're continuing to enhance traffic flow throughout our city. We have 2 others that are still in the makings, and one is Calista Road, Phase 1, which is going to be from the Indian Ridge subdivision all the way up to Bill Moss Road. That, folks, is going to be happening probably this summer. You're going to start seeing ground being broken for this to relocate the sewer. We've already moving some electrical poles out of the way, and so we're hoping to be widening it maybe early, like maybe August, September, getting that project going. So I know it's going to create an inconvenience for those that live along Calista Road in that area, but boy, you're going to have a really nice roadway when it's done with curbs and gutter. You'll have stormwater infrastructure in place and a sidewalk along the east side.
That'd be great.
East side of the road, which will connect you to Indian Ridge, which connects you to the city park. So you'll be able to walk, from your subdivision all the way up to the city park if you'd like to, or run or bicycle, those type of things. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty nice that we're doing all that. So go ahead. Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
Keep going. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's the perfect place to start when it comes to White House, because that's what everybody talks about are the roads. And I mean, because it's just so packed in. What are you going to do? My husband and I were having this conversation yesterday because he teaches at Springfield. And so he has what they call outliers, kids that come in for the different classes at the trade school. He has some kids from White House. That's what they talk about.
Sure. Wow.
And I don't know if it's because they know his wife used to be a traffic reporter or what brings it up, but we have a lot of traffic conversations about White House, and so that's so critical.
Yeah, that's
and
very critical.
I mean, and so I can tell everybody, go and listen to what Jerry said. They're on it. They're on it. There you go.
We certainly are there. And then we've started construction now on the sidewalk project on 31W, close to the City Hall at our south trailhead. And it's going to go down past the Goodwill store. And there'll be some pedestrian improvements for crosswalks at the intersection of Raymondhurst Parkway and US 31W, which is really important I think for that area. So make it more walkable, especially now that we're enhancing more businesses there, which I'll talk about in a second. The dog park parking lot for those of you who like to take your dog to the dog park. I know you've had to park like in the grass in some stony area, but we're engaged in building you a parking lot. And I see that they've got it all shaped out. Stone is in place, so it won't be long. We'll be seeing probably some curbing and then some asphalt put down. So it'll be nice for you to be able to park there. Let's see here. We have, paving of Pleasant Grove Road and Boyles Road.
Yes,
been on our
hot topic.
Yeah, it's a hot topic, and it's something we've had on our agenda for a little while. And we finally was able to get that in the makings. I went out there yesterday, and they had about half of it paved. Boyles Road was already done. Of course, that'll be restriped. And Pleasant Grove for us, it's a long road from 76 all the way out to Boyles Road, and it's a long way. So. We're happy about that. Now, Boyles Road is not paved all the way to Cross Plains Road. For those of you, we only paved up to the city line. So if the county wants to get out there and match it up, go for it. And it'll make it nice for those people that live there in that area. So happy with that. That's going. Now, the Cider Grove development, which is where our new emergency center is going to be. The gentleman that's developing that lot, he ran into some issues with costs when it came to TDOT. Decided they wanted to make them. It's at the corner of two state routes, and so they're wanting improvements on US 31W and 76 for turning lane enhancements to extend turning lanes and things of that nature. So it put a really large burden, a couple $1 million, I think, on top of the developer. So he's asked the city if we could enter into a tax incremental financing district, create a district, and then any new taxes would go towards paying for this road improvements that he has to get done. And so that went before our industrial development board last week, and with a 5-1 vote, they did vote in favor of sending it forward to the board of mayor and aldermen, which that'll be coming up on our next agenda in May here. So we'll probably talk about that at our June meeting here. But I think that's going to be a really good project for us. I even though we may lose some property taxes as it's paying off those road improvements, we will be gaining in sales tax. There's going to be a new McDonald's, a new Casey's. There's a new liquor store with a little retailer outlet going with that. They've added Christian Brothers. They're adding a Jersey Mike's Subway shop. They're adding a learning center, which is going to be, I think it's a national chain for a daycare facility. So that's going to be added. They just got that approved. They got 30 single-family homes going in that area. So I think it's going to be a really nice enhancement. It sits right behind Publix. We've asked them to connect to our Greenway so that people in that community can walk to the Greenway and just connect. And that Greenway connects to our city park, and it travels all around our city. So I think that was some of the things that I had mentioned to the board.
You had mentioned, where you were doing the paving, and you said if the county wants to pick it up, which county would that be, Robertson or Sumner?
That would be Robertson County, yeah.
I thought it was. I wasn't sure, because I forget where the lines come in, and so I was like, okay, there you go, County Mayor.
Yeah, and that area where we stop is, it gets really tricky in there because there's some really sharp curves and very narrow road lanes there. It's almost you can't get hardly two cars to pass each other there.
Well, try doing it in a bus.
Oh, I can imagine what that would be. I wouldn't want to imagine that.
My husband,
that's why I don't drive bus.
My husband will take me sometimes because he goes, I'll say something, man, this road's here. He goes, I come down it on a bus. And I'm like,
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
I had like a 15-passenger van. I took a bunch of explorers out to Colorado with one time for police explorers. And I can't tell you how many curbs I hit turning corners. So if you're a bus driver, God bless you. You're needed because there's people out there like me that cannot do that type of driving.
They're a lot easier to drive than you think. Don't let him dissuade you. We need drivers. But yes, when you mentioned that, I was like, yeah. I've heard some comments about those roads, but anyway, very good. Well, what's next? Here we go. Go keep going. We've got one more break to do. Okay. We can put it off for just a moment.
All right. Well, just real quick here. We're working on a unified development ordinance. Basically, we've taken our zoning code, our subdivision regs, and we're combining it with a brand new updated version, because what has happened over the last 30 years, when you had the first zoning code made, there's edits constantly all the time. And so it's gotten to be so not disarray, but it's made it very challenging for us to do our planning. So by putting this all together, we're really creating a more efficient and more effective system for our city. And we've been working on this for 2 years. And I was going to bring the manual. It's like 2.5 inches thick, and it's very thick, and it's got
500 pages.
Yes,
right?
yes, and
Wow.
so we had to have a lot of eyes on it. You know, we have meetings after meetings after meetings, reviewing it, making sure it's edited correctly, and all that legal stuff. And finally, we were there, and we got it through the planning commission, forwarded it to the board. Alderman had their first reading of it, and in May, I said, we got to get this done before I retire. This is one of my big projects we got to do. And matter of fact, I already talked to the planner. He may want to come here in June if we don't mind.
Okay.
Bring him along. He can tell us a little bit more about what's going on there. But I'll kind of stop there, and then we can got a couple more things we can talk about.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, that'd be a good place for us to pause, and we'll just kind of reset and kind of regroup. And we're talking with City Administrator Jerry Herman, and then Chamber President of White House Chamber, Mandy Christenson. And guys, we had a listener. And I hope you're listening. I'm gonna talk to you one day, because they a couple of times said we really need to hear what's going on in White House, because they love how Ron Martin comes in after some mayor and alderman meeting and specifically ask us to do this, so we're doing it. So when you have something you really want us to do here on 1 Street Over, man, ask about it and we will make it happen. And thank y'all for doing this, because I know it's a lot to get in here, and we appreciate y'all so much for coming in and helping us out. But we're going to talk about let's start with Rebecca Richards. She has an office out there in White House.
She does.
Yes, she does. And she has her White House office. Her hubby Barry has his brokerage office here in Springfield, and together they make Exit Prime Realty. They have been with the Exit company from the very get-go. Rebecca will tell you, when she decided she wanted to go into real estate, she looked around. She said, what company will be everything I need? And she researched it. And that's when she connected with Exit. They've been with them the entire time. So they were with the Garden Gate team. They brought a new branch in the tree with Exit Prime Realty a couple of years ago. So it's all the same great team, but it's just a great organization to work with. If you want to be a realtor, if we've got a lot of kids graduating, there's kids out there that want to be realtors. Reach out to Barry and Rebecca. They would love to mentor you in the process and to make sure you know exactly what you're asking for when you say you want to be a realtor. But it's a great business to be in. They have a lot of fun. I've just really loved working with them. We'll talk with them sometime in the next week about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. They are founding sponsors and on the board for the festival. It is next weekend, so be sure and put that on your calendar for the 15th and 16th, because you can come out and sit and talk with them. They'll have their tent out. They'll have their computer there. They can even do a free market analysis for you right there. Maybe you're curious about, what would my home bring if I put it on the market? Or maybe, what kind of equity do I have in my home? If you want to do a refi, they can help you with all that. And they can help you figure out what you need to do when it comes to getting pre-approved. They'll tell you that's where you need to start. And they'll recommend you to companies like Valor Mortgage that we just talked about. But you need to make sure you know how much home you can afford to buy before you start looking, so you do not get your heart broken. But if you go and look, the market is really heating up right now. On Rebecca's page, her last couple of listings, she's got sold marked on them. Barry's big listing that he's got right at the moment on his social media page is at one here in Springfield, 703 Fifth Avenue. Great price on that. Go and check it out. But just Google them. That's what Barry says. Google Barry Richards, Rebecca Richards, Exit Prime Realty, and you'll find out all the things about them, how they've matter of fact, this house in Springfield is a historic property over by the library. So get with them today, or if you want to wait until the festival, you can do that as well. You can reach out to them at any time at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or 7424. You can go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com. But please always let them know U-Turn sent you. All right, guys, where do we want to go from here? That's got our ads for the day. So what else have we got?
I just have a couple more things from the that came out of that Alderman meeting. They our contract with Kraft Associates, which is now Baker Tilly for auditing services, was due. So we went out to bid, and they applied for it, and they got the lowest bid. So we're going to have they approved a 5-year contract with them, which is important to us because we have to have that annual audit. And then the last thing was, again, this is like the sixth project of those six projects I talked about, road projects. We've had some issues with Union Road at Highway 76, trying to figure out what is the best solution. We went round and round and round over decades, and we were planning for one route, and it just created a lot of controversy because it was going to take up one of the farmers' land a little bit, a couple acres. So we reset. We thought, okay, should we reopen the road? Not in its current condition. We cannot do that. So the board did approve a contract with CSR for $197,000 to design and redesign that intersection. We're not planning on a traffic controlled intersection. We're just talking about putting turn lanes and widening the road on Union Road because it's so narrow. There's the Hope Centers on one side and there's a creek on the other side. Actually, it's a stream, and so it's going to have some engineering challenges and it's going to have some costs that are going to be more than we expected. But we do have money set aside for that, and that kind of takes me into our budget process. We're getting closer to the end of that because I'll have to have a first reading coming up here in a couple of weeks with the board, mayor, alderman. But I know they're anxiously waiting to see what I come up with. It's my responsibility to provide a balanced budget on all 15 funds each and every year. And so I got 14 of the 15 I feel confident and comfortable with taking to the board, mayor, alderman. But our general fund, which covers quite a bit of all of most of our departments have some hands in that money in some way, except for wastewater. It's been really challenging. Our costs, it was unbelievable with our personnel costs have gone up quite a bit with the new rec center. We had to add several people there. Our utility costs went up because we didn't have that building. We weren't paying utilities there. Mm-hmm. So those costs went up. Our health insurance went up this year more than it's gone up, I think, in the last 10, 12 years. Our fuel costs, can you imagine how much fuel that we spend in all of our police vehicles and fire vehicles and public works trucks and all the equipment that we have there is all gas operated. So our fuel costs have gone up considerably. TCRS, our consolidated retirement system that we have, they went up 2%. Mm-hmm. So just the timing of all this, and then we had done a pay plan a couple of years ago, and it's catching up with us. So our expenses this year, we're going to exceed our revenues by a significant amount. So I've been forced to make a lot of cuts, and so we'll see how this rolls out in the general fund. But like I said, we'll be happy about 14 of them, but that one fund I'm hoping to get that wrapped up sometime by the end of tomorrow before I leave work to get that last one, because I got to get ready for the board, mayor, alderman next week. So
yeah, and it's hard to do. And I mean, people are having to do this because, like you said, there's so much a cost, and at the core of it's the fuel cost that pushes everything else up.
Oh,
and I mean, I know when I talked to Dr. Danny Weeks about school budgets and all those things and all the things that with the fuel for these buses, we're talking about buses. Oh my goodness, it's just outrageous. Yeah, when you think about that. So I mean, I was talking to my brother yesterday, farming, about how they got the corn. They've got the corn planted, got soybeans planted, but the bottom line is the fuel cost is just killing farmers because it goes over into all these other things. So it's hitting us all the way around. But
our trucks. Anytime that happens, it just causes everything else to inflate with it.
Yeah.
And, people I think don't realize, but you can track it right down when the fuel cost.
You bet.
It's such a basic necessity that we have, and we have to have it.
So we just keep pushing on, guys, and get out and vote. Get out and vote. Get out and vote.
Another reason that vote's important.
You better believe it, because if you got to get out there and be a part of it. Okay, so what else I tell you what, while y'all kind of figure out where else we want to go as far as the conversation, I want to mention that Lee Marie is saying you don't have school today, so there's no excuse to get out Fun for Fitness in her line dance class at Well in the Square. So this would be a really good day to work off the tacos, she say, at 11 and 5:30 and 6. So there you go. Absolutely. And I also want to say, we have critter fixers here in town that I think a lot of people don't realize. If you have stray cats, if you have, just animals, that is a group we need to really support. I've actually got I've got a couple of feral kittens. I never got them caught last night. They're getting fixed today with critter fixers. So I just want to kind of give a nod to critter fixers today.
Yes.
And trying to get, I thought they were doing better than they were. These two little kittens, and I didn't think I was ever going to get them in a carrier last night, but I did. And we just really appreciate y'all over there and the work you do. So absolutely, get these. This is the season, guys, that you need to be taking care of your pets, making sure you're getting them fixed. And Critter Fixers would love to help you. And they need your support, or they're not going to be. I know I had heard a conversation that they're not getting the funding that they need. So we want them to stick around. So reach out.
Yeah, because
Critter
they
Fixers.
haven't really, they have been an organization for several years, but being able to offer this level of care and convenience for people has only been the last few years. And it's really important to help fund that mission because, overpopulation of pets is a real problem.
You better believe it.
It causes disease and lots of things. So anything that we can do to support that mission is really good.
Well, hats off to you, Critter Fixers, today, and also I saw Doug Drake on here. I know he went to my knee replacement doctor, Dr. Jeffrey Hodrick, up in Nashville yesterday, and had a knee replaced. So rest, do your therapy, Doug.
Ice.
Glad you're doing. Oh yeah, ice. You can't. That's the thing. That's a big thing. But I'm glad you're doing well. I mean, he's even on here, on the radio with us today already, and had surgery yesterday. Wow. All right. So where else? We've got about 10 minutes, guys, and then we're all going to go vote. So if you haven't already,
yes, I voted already. So my son, it was his first time to vote, so I
go
that's great.
with him. I know it was really exciting. I don't think he was quite as excited as I was. But he got a first time voter sticker and he got his I voted sticker, and of course I chronicled it. And he was like, "Mom, oh my gosh,
please, pictures."
But he's a senior, so he just has to put up with it. And but I was really proud of him, and everybody at the polling site was very excited. I mean, the excitement that they had for a first-time voter coming through was, really inspiring. And so get out and vote today. And if it's your first time, you get an extra sticker.
There you go.
I know they had an extra sticker.
I know there's extra stickers for you.
I should have told my kids because some of my seniors, it's like I can vote. I'm like, well, you better. I should have said, well, you get an extra sticker.
That's right.
If you'll go.
Yes.
That's
Stickers
wonderful. I love it. Go vote. Go vote. So what else do we need to talk about?
Well,
you go. No, you go ahead.
No, you were on critters, and I thought I'm just going to throw this out there and see what the ladies think. We have running animals that run at large. There's an ordinance that you're not allowed to allow your horses, your cows, and your goats, and and your dogs run at large. And so we had an incident several years ago that it was a cat running at large caused attacked another cat or something. So they were upset. They went to court over it, and the judge just felt like it's natural for cats to roam, and they should be able to run freely and stuff. So he just felt like there was no real reason to have cats included in that leash law, basically, or running at large. So he asked us to remove it. But that it's resurfaced recently, where I've had someone complaining about their neighbor's cats coming over, in their mulch and tearing up their mulch and stuff like that, and defecating in their mulch. And so I looked at the ordinance. Oh, we're missing cats, and I forgot about this years ago, where we had changed it to pull cats out. So I was going to just say, well, this is an easy fix. We'll put cats in there. I don't know why they left cats out, but we'll put cats back in there. And so, anyways, I realized I found my assistant Derek. He found that we had already an ordinance that why we pulled cats out, and I looked at it and I thought, I better not then put the cats back in. But I think we're going to put the cats back in. So what do you ladies think? Should cats be free to run at large, or should they not be allowed to run at large?
I don't. Oh, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
So if my kids that live in these really tight communities, I can see there being some cause, because when you've got just a yard as big as this room and that's it, and you've got the neighbor cat coming over and making a mess. I mean, I'm out in the country, you know, and so that's a little different. It's hard for me to not let my dogs run, but I can't, and it's just, and not everybody doesn't let their dogs run, because some people in our neighborhood do. And they come up and bark in my yard in the middle of the night. But anyway, wanting my dogs to come out and play, but
we know you're in there.
And and it's I stress over my dogs if they get loose now. Sure. I'm super careful about my dogs, and I didn't used to be as much because I live out in the middle of nowhere, and sorta. But cats and stuff, I can't imagine trying to rail them in the country, but now in a
really
neighborhood,
difficult thing to enforce. Well, not and even enforce because
Can you catch them?
like a dog catcher.
Yeah, you try catching these cats.
Catch a dog is one thing, but trying to catch a cat is a whole nother.
Right here is what I've got scratches all over me trying to catch those little kittens last night. Yeah. Oh my word!
Well, I have to confess, I'm a cat person. Always have been since I've been an adult. We've always had cats. So I think with the time when the ordinance was changed, my cats ran at large. So, but my cat I've had for the last 13 years, he's been in the house, so he's been fine staying in the house, and so it's been kind of nice having an indoor cat, only indoor cat. But this is something our board member aldermen are going to have to wrestle with because we're going to put it back out there for our first reading coming up here in May, and see how that goes. But just wanted to say that. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing from a city manager position and also an elected position. We're talking about how important elections are. Also, the people that put themselves out there to run for office. It's not a small task.
No, it's a lot.
It requires a lot of bravery, a lot of dedication, because you don't really think about having to vote on and pass an ordinance about
cats.
A cat leash law, and there are a lot of really minuscule things that matter a lot to some people that come across their desks, and it's like, I never thought I would have this conversation. And so, we think about the big issues when we think about voting and elected officials, but there are so many small things that they're dealing with and trying to help their constituents, make their communities better. But it just always I kind of marvel sometimes at some of the conversations I get to be a part of because of my relationship with the city. I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about that today. So,
we're always looking for what's the greater good for from all for all our residents, and not necessarily all, because you're always going to have some on either side that's not going to like that, whatever it is you're trying to do. Yeah. But it's a difficult thing to try to do.
You can't make everybody happy.
Only tacos can make. That's where we started with Mandy's shirt. You're not a taco.
Full
you can't make everybody happy. So that's hysterical. But I can't imagine. It's like the cats that I have right now. We didn't have any cats on our farm, and because somebody would drop them, and so we were just needing some cats, and so my brother's like, "Come get them," because he farmer. He owns the farm that I grew up on, and they had out around the barns and stuff cats everywhere. And so I went up for a couple of weeks on Sunday and trapped cats, and I ended up with these 4 cats. And I'm telling you, it's just amazing. I can't imagine trying to contain them because they're feral. We just put them in the barn to control mice and
that's
things
right.
like
I've not had a mouse in my home since we've had cats.
Yeah, and honestly and truthfully, I hadn't had a house cat in a long time, and about a couple of months ago, I had a snake in my house, and I'm like, I gotta get a cat. I gotta get a cat. I got to because I don't mind snakes as much as I do mice, but I still don't want them in my house.
Right.
And so that's the reason I've got to have a cat. And these two little kittens that I thought I was going to tame, they're probably going to become barn cats after they get fixed because I can't get the feral out of them. Yeah. They were in the. Right. I thought I could tame them, but man, they scratched me to pieces last night trying to put them in that carrier.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm going to have to find another cat, but. Yeah, anyway, but yes, I love my cats, but I can't imagine trying to contain them. But if I were in those tight neighborhoods, I think, yes, you would have to.
Yeah.
My kid's neighbor, if they had a cat come on their lawn, they'd have a fit, because they have these lawns that are pristine. And, I know they've got some neighbors that would not want your little cat over in their yard. And so, I can kind of see it there in city proper. For sure, but now in the outline areas, you're not gonna curtail the cats. They're gonna roam.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be an interesting council meeting.
Yes, that will be. I almost want to kind of just come listen.
I want that to be the distraction over the budget ordinance.
Let's talk cats.
Let's talk cats. The budget, it's good. Just go ahead and pass that budget. Don't worry about that. But these cats, you better be thinking about them.
Right.
That's hysterical. That's funny. But and critter fixers. That's why we were talking about the wonderful service you provide. outside.
That's right.
And taking care of my two crazy kittens today.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else before we have anything?
Well,
we
let's
need?
just wrap up with
Okay,
some regionalism and things to do, because tourism is really big. Agritourism is really big in Middle Tennessee and Robertson County. You mentioned the Kilgore Festival. That there's a barn dance on Friday night,
Yes.
and then they all day they have that festival. They have grown that into such a fantastic event in Cross Plains. I know that they are looking for volunteers. So the seniors that we were talking about with senioritis, if you have not done your Tennessee Promise Hours, you can qualify. So reach out to them. A lot of community organizations are looking for volunteers throughout the summer. I know personally what happens is a lot of our students call us and say, I need 8 hours by tomorrow.
Yep.
And that doesn't always work out. So think ahead just a little bit. You can even work ahead and get hours for the following term, because Tennessee Promise, you have to keep those volunteer hours up. Another big event that's coming up, it's not in Robertson County, but just a sliver of it's in Robertson County, and that's in Portland, and that is the Middle Tennessee Strawberry Festival. That's this weekend. The weather looks like it's going to be phenomenal.
Oh, wonderful.
They have off-site parking where you ride a shuttle bus into the event. Their event is American themed. They're so clever. Something berry American or something like that. But it's lots and lots of fun. Live music, kids zone, food trucks, strawberries everywhere you look. So make a day of it. Of course, it's Mother's Day, so take your mom to the Strawberry Festival and have some fun with her. And then just want to remind people that our summer concert series starts on May 29th. That's a Friday night at the amphitheater at the Municipal Complex in White House. We'll have some food trucks, inflatables. The splash pad will be open. And then go ahead and mark your calendars for our July 4th celebration, which is our annual Americana celebration that will be on the 4th of July, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States. We'll have fireworks and live music and food trucks and lots of fun.
Oh, that's great, because yours is on the 4th, because the one here is on the 3rd.
Yes.
And I'm actually hosting the one in Cross Plains also on the 3rd.
Oh, great.
So we got all kinds of great
Yeah, there's going to be
events.
a lot of celebrating.
There's
going to
be a lot. And so I love that y'all having y'all. I was hoping it wasn't on the 3rd, because we've got two on the 3rd. But you got Freedom Fest here in Springfield. We've got one up in Cross Plains if you want a lower crowd. But we'll have
see
great
fireworks
music.
all
You're going to see it's
weekend.
going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then y'all's on the 4th. That'll be great. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And I will have just gotten back from Mexico. So there we go.
Oh,
We got our mission trip to Mexico right before that, but we'll be back in time. So wonderful. Anything else before we go?
Yeah, I think one thing I just want to make sure I scream out there to the fathers and sons out there. The biggest event of the year is actually Sunday. It's Mother's Day, and happy
That's right.
Happy Mother's Day to the two of you. And
Thank
don't
you.
forget to mention that to your daughters and your wives and your mothers.
Amen. Thank you very much. And, go to Corbin Creek and get them some beautiful flowers. Corbin was a longtime sponsor. Well, they were a longtime sponsor, and I love the Corbins.
Yeah.
And if you want some beautiful flowering baskets and all of that, I know Brian Pulley says he takes his kids out there every year and picks out flower baskets for the moms. And two, I found out I'm going to have 7 grandkids by the end of this year.
Yay.
Yeah, I found out about another one. So it's just great. So it's just wonderful. But all of us blessed. But happy Mother's Day. I'm glad y'all brought that up, because we're so busy. Because I've got all my daughter-in-laws are moms or moms to be, and I'm like, y'all enjoy the weekend. We'll come find y'all.
Right.
I mean, because they want to. It's like it's still new to them. I've been there, done that. I'll come find y'all. It's all good. Just give me a call. Just call me.
That's right.
Or send you flowers from Corbin.
There you go. Absolutely.
Hard to go wrong.
I love it. Thank you guys for coming.
you.
Y'all are always so much fun. And thank y'all for joining us. Tomorrow, we will talk with a couple of the principals here in Robertson County. And that is something, this will be the last visit with the principals until fall. We go around the county and we bring the principals in 2 at a time on the first Wednesday. And so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. And that will be the last visit before we have summer. And then we'll get back to it in the fall. But thank you guys for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless you. Have a great day.